Rise up, live joy your way. From emotional intelligence through cognitive distortions, certified life and wellness coach Kamini Wood is on a mission to help people see the magnificence of their own unique human spirit. Through these small bites of self-visualization and self-confidence, you can have healthy relationships, success in business and career, and live the life you want to live. Rise up, live joy your way.
Hi there, and welcome to another episode of Rise Up, Live Joy Your Way. Whether it's morning, afternoon, or evening, thank you for taking some time to join me. And today I just want to talk about something that might be on people's minds right now, is how do we handle the uncertainty or fear or stress that comes from watching what's happening in the world and not knowing how it's all going to play out. And so maybe you're feeling some heaviness, or maybe a low level of anxiety about where things are headed. Or maybe you find yourself scrolling on the news and you're feeling like every headline is worse than the last. Or maybe you're actually okay, but I want to talk to the people who are feeling slightly anxious. And so for those of you who are worrying about how are you supposed to feel okay when everything feels so out of control, I just want to say, first of all, I see you, I get it. And I'm not going to be here telling you to just don't worry about it or, let it go. Instead, I want to have a conversation about what can we do when everything does feel unstable or uncertain, and how do we avoid getting stuck in that helplessness? And then also, most importantly, is how do we help build our own self-trust? So I want to pull from Viktor Frankl's Man's Search for Meaning and the Practice of Radical Acceptance, both of which offer powerful reminders when we're having moments like these. So when we think about why our brain hates uncertainty, it's because from an evolutionary standpoint, our survival was built on predictability. Predictability and that sense of certainty gives us a sense of safety. And when we don't have that and we don't know what's coming next, our nervous system perceives that as a threat. And when our brains feel threatened, what happens? We spiral. We try to overconsume information. We'll be scrolling, watching, obsessing, thinking about how can we get more information, because there's this belief that if we get more information, we're going to feel safer. And then we try to control everything and everyone around us because, that again feels like safety, but doesn't necessarily give us it doesn't give us that answer. And so some of us will even just shut down. But in Viktor Frankl's book, Man's Search for Meaning, as a Holocaust survivor, one of the most profound things that he shares with us is that it's not about controlling our situation. It's because we don't always control what happens to us, but we have the power within us to control how we respond. And I don't mean to offer this as toxic positivity. It's radical ownership that you do have your own choices and the way that you choose to respond to a situation. So when I'm talking about radical acceptance, it is a concept from psychology that basically says fighting reality doesn't change reality. So we're accepting it as it is. It's not condoning it. It's just saying, and it doesn't mean that we agree with it. It just says it is what it is. And it also doesn't mean that you don't care. It just, again, says, this is what's happening. I may not like it, but it's the current reality. And given this reality, how do I want to show up, right? How do I choose to respond? Radical acceptance allows you to pause that panic spiral and shift from this is awful and I don't know what to do and I'm just freaking out into, okay, this is the situation and what is within my control right now. Because we aren't powerless. Even though we may feel it in the moment, we're really not. I know it's hard to believe because when it feels like all these decisions are being made above our head or that it's a system-wide thing, it feels murky, it feels icky, but we do have some power within us where we get to control the choices that we're making for ourselves. And that really comes from building your self-trust. So when everything feels unstable, the most important thing that we can do is find some steadiness within us. And we find that steadiness through our own self-trust. And self-trust isn't just about confidence. It's about knowing that you can handle hard things, knowing that no matter what happens, you will figure out the next step to take, knowing that even in uncertainty, you still do have some ownership over the choice that you make or your reaction or your next step. So how do we build that sense of self-trust? We set boundaries about what we consume. it can feel, it's easy to start to feel powerless when we are doom scrolling. So when you start to scroll, ask yourself, is this actually helping me or is it making me feel worse? And maybe setting some boundaries around how much you're consuming and where you're consuming. Take small actions in your immediate world. So you can't single-handedly fix everything, but if you start to look at what you can control or small steps that you can take, that can give you that sense of personal stability. So your own routines, your own self-care, your own small actions that you can take to help make yourself feel more grounded and more safe within your own world. And remind yourself of all the hard things that you have gone through. Life is full of challenges. You've met every single one of them, and we know you have a track record for survival because you're here today. And it's really important to stay anchored in your values. When everything around you feels so chaotic, coming back to what your values are and what's meaningful to you is vital. And you can ask yourself, what type of person, who do I want to be? How do I want to show up? What values do I want to leave in? What are those values-based actions I'm going to take? Because no matter what's happening in the world, you always come home to yourself. And I really want to encourage you to take a deep breath, like just really breathe. I find myself doing this routinely right now, where I just really consciously slow down and take a breath and just really breathe from that diaphragm, not just up here, but from down here. Uncertainty is so scary, but it doesn't have to own you. You have more resilience than you think. You are capable of navigating really hard things. And with every hard thing, you come out stronger and you learn so much. And so it's important to just step back from the panic cycle and focus on what actions you can take and really commit to your own self and committing self-trust. Because when you do reclaim yourself and your mindset and your choices and how you respond, you do have a sense of control, even in the uncertainty of the outside world. And the truth is, none of us know what's coming next. We never do. But you're not helpless and you're not powerless. You have so much strength within you, and I want to remind you of that. And I offer that to you as I'm reminding myself of the same thing. And if this resonated with you and you feel like it could help somebody else, please feel free to share it with them. Or if you feel like coaching could be helpful to you or for you, feel free to reach out to me at any time at coachwithkamini.com. And until next time, breathe, trust yourself, and stay well.
Thank you for listening to Rise Up, Live Joy Your Way. For more information, book a chat with Kamini at www.chatwithkamini.com or visit her website at www.kaminiwood.com. You can also find Kamini on Facebook or Instagram. Username It's Authentic Me. Thank you for listening.